Beverly Hills.
I'm going to be talking a little bit in code today because if you watch my channel and you watch my live, yes.
Is the plane going down? Are we going to die? Why are you saying I'm sorry?
Hi guys, welcome back to Housewives 411. My name is Lindsay, and today we are going to be talking Housewives and headlines and some of the things that we have seen over the last day or so hit the press. We got an article from The Sun that was also discussing Joe Gorga's comedy show and like a major diss to his sister. Making sure that Teresa's name is headlined in his comedy show. And then we're seeing Watch What Happens Live, ask Julia Fox about Teresa's hair from her wedding. Like, again, using old girl's name for headlines. And so I just want to drop in and say, happy Tuesday. Let's talk Housewives. Everyone comment. Let me know how you guys are doing today. And if there's anything that you have specific questions on. I figure most of you guys are here to talk New Jersey anyways, because that's always a fan fave, right? I kind of also want to talk again about the publicist, Tom. I always want to call him Tom Tom. I don't know why. I think it's just because Lisa Vanderpump used to have that restaurant, Tom Tom's, or Tom. Maybe there was still a Tom. I don't know. Whatever. There was a restaurant somewhere, Tom and Tom's. And I don't think that enough people are like picking up on the significance of the letting go, aka firing of Tom, Melissa's manager. So, thank you so much, BM. I appreciate you. I got that dress so cheap. Sometimes, when you see something and you don't have anywhere specific to wear it to, but you're like, I better buy this because I might need this one day. Just one, even if it's just that one time I needed it, and that's when it came through. So, good afternoon, guys. Again, everything in this video is going to be alleged. If you go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. If you guys don't know about me, check out my other channel. If you're following on my old channel, please come over and follow on my new channel, Housewives 411. If you don't know, I've been demonetized, likely a Real Housewife of New Jersey. Reality Blurb actually picked up on it, which is kind of a big deal, guys. On the DMs, they printed them, they talked about it. All RHONJ facts was mentioned as well. So that's a pretty big deal. But with this whole firing of the PR boy, I don't think people realize how much of a validation to Laura Lee Jensen's story of how Tom was the one that told Margaret about what he allegedly saw Melissa and this Nick guy doing. And again, it was already a unconventional dynamic because of the fact that they shared a publicist. I don't know if they got a discount rate. I don't know how that goes when you share a publicist. Does anyone know if that's like really something? I mean, I don't know. Like Erica Jane and Nikki Hilton, I think, share a publicist, but I don't know about people that like usually work so closely to share a publicist. Isn't your publicist supposed to have like just your best interest? If you guys remember, he was actually, if you guys go back to the Gansevoort, go back to BravoCon last year at the Gansevoort, when Jennifer and Joe and Melissa got into it in the lobby. Remember when everyone was like, who's that guy yelling at Jennifer? Like, who is that guy? Who is that guy yelling at Jennifer? Does anyone know who that guy is? Who is that guy? It's her PR, Tom. And we've heard David Yontef and Kim D both talk about Tom. And, I think that part of the reason Melissa and Marge were like upset, with David and Kim too, were because they had sort of verified that they too had seen Margaret, Melissa, and Nick out and about in New York City doing press, having drinks, yada, yada, yada. Lisa, my girl. Yes, girl. That's what I'm talking about. She's like, I looked up Tom. He's still listed as as Margaret's manager. I'm not surprised. I wonder if her affair went up though. I don't know. Just saying, like, if there's like, if you're like, hey, do you want to be my manager? But if I bring my friend on, are you gonna give me a discount or no? Can we get a 2-for-1, please? But he was not up to par. He was not. I mean, he was young. I don't know, like, what the publicist's life is like PR and stuff. It seems to be like a lot of younger, like you got to have like some spunk in you, I guess. I don't know, and be like in your late 20s or early 30s. I don't know, because to me, like being at my age and like I don't know, you would have to be like really impressive. Like you would have to know the business, don't you think, to like I don't know. These people employ anyone though. So I mean, I could be like giving them a little too much credit because I mean, we've seen them make some what about remember the old manager of Envy? Someone had just brought him up not too long ago. So it's so crazy now that we're like talking about Melissa's PR person. I think that hey Groovy. I think that there was a photo floating around of him as well, like Melissa and him at his like 30th birthday party. So if you didn't get a chance, I think that's on Twitter. You could take a look at him. Like like obviously you may not know him to like see his face, but I think it's pretty standard. We knew about Tom. We just never really had much of a face to put with it. And we knew that he was Margaret and Melissa's PR person. But again, I just think that her letting him go, it's almost, guys, it would have been like a year. Well, think about it. Teresa's wedding was a year ago in August. So it's been way over a year. And I also wanted to talk to you guys about how they're like using Teresa for headlines like a lot lately. Number one, watch what happens live. First of all, Julia Fox, like I'm gonna respect Julia because I like her. What is the word I'm looking for? Her free spirits. I can respect it. Okay, always like love and respect a free spirit, but she was out here yachting with Kanye West. And if any of y'all know about the industry, you know about yachting. And yachting is like not a compliment necessarily. But we hadn't seen much from you. And then all of a sudden you're out here yachting with Kanye. And before that, there was a blind item that was posted about Julia. And it was posted from NT Lawyer. And if any of you guys know, he's the man that comes up with the blind items and he knows his shit. He's been in the industry for like 20 years. People have tried desperately to dox him, find out who he is. I know at one point, I think it started out like 4 men who were just trying to find a like released from work so they would do these blind doxy items sort of. But yeah, he has a good rapport, a good history of being very, very spot on. And, he had some things to say too. So, hi guys. Hi Peggy. Hi Groovy. Kanye probably dressed her for Watch What Happens Live. I doubt it. She probably would have looked better. I mean, honestly. Oh, the blind item. Sorry, you guys. Sometimes I get you guys over here. I just be talking. I lose my train of thought. I can't help it sometimes. The blind item. It was basically saying that Julia, she's in the industry, was in the industry, whatever you want to say. She's a beautiful girl. She got big on TikTok for a second. I don't know if it was a compliment or not. It was like people were fascinated. Anyways, the blind item stated that she had married this guy who was a pilot, right? And they were living in LA, West Hollywood area. Like, I don't know. They had like an okay standard house, I guess, probably for like California standards. I mean, everything, of course, is super expensive out there. But regardless, he was like a private pilot. And he was also may or may not have maybe been, uh, private flying and also have some issue with some substances. And Julia, I could see maybe that she would date someone that liked substances. I don't know, call me crazy. But anyways, she like posted on Instagram, like I think he had like left and didn't come home. I'm not laughing because it's funny, you guys. If you guys know me, you guys know I laugh because I have like that uncomfortable laugh in serious situations. And Julia is comical and she has to know what she's doing. She's not a dumb woman. And anyways, she was mad. She was real mad and she was on some like Gretchen Wilson, except she was on Instagram. And so she was posting about him and the fact that he hadn't come home and that he was on, he was flying high on his own, besides airplanes. He was flying high on stuff other than airplanes. And like he drained their money and yada, yada, yada. And then like she goes quiet for a couple of weeks. Boom. She's yachting with Kanye. We saw that. He was buying her friends Birkins. You know, I don't know. She probably should have took the money instead of the Birkin, but whatever. And so then after they were like 2 months maybe, she's like in a 1-bedroom apartment in Hollywood, it's nice, but like people were just commenting on it because it's like her and her son. And she's making it as if like she's just someone who doesn't like to live in excess. Not someone who's like single mom, baby daddy, and I may or may not have like done, I don't know, like spent a lot of money or something, I guess is what you want to call it. But yeah, and she was like, she was talking about a mouse and how it would come out at night, and people were just like, she got like, I don't even know, like 3 million views on a video talking about this mouse. Like, it's just crazy. So anyways, it's just shocking that Watch What Happens Live still has her on as a regular guest because she wasn't on there that long ago. That's why I was shocked when I read the headline. Again, guys, these headlines, I think it's really comical that Watch What Happens Live is using Teresa's hair from her wedding over a year ago, which has already been established as iconic. Whatever anyone's personal likes or dislikes about Teresa's hair were clearly irrelevant because she's stated many a time she loved her hair. She hasn't backed down from that. If you like big hair, then you might have loved her hair. Like, regardless of whether you liked it, loved it, sort of liked it, thought it should have been higher, lower, smaller, bigger, whatever the case may be, we can all agree that it was iconic. And once something is dubbed iconic, we don't use it as a punchline anymore. I don't know if Andy Cohen forgot, but we don't really use like iconic things as like punchlines a year later for Julia Fox. Like, and I feel like anytime they mention Teresa, they're throwing the guest a bone. Do you guys know what I'm saying? Like, they're already anticipating that the guest is not going to make great headlines by themselves. So they throw them a bone, a pre-planned production bone, and let them roll with it and see what they can come up with. And sometimes they make the mark and sometimes they don't. If you remember when Tamara went on Watch What Happens Live, of course, again, Teresa was brought up. Now a lot of people, that made a little bit more headlines because Tamara had been so persistent about her opinions on Teresa that it just got picked up more, I think. Groovy said Andy still talks about Kelly Dodd. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I'm sure they do get frustrated when they're like used for headlines. But I think that the only difference is like the network is literally trying to use Teresa's hair from her wedding from only a year ago as like a punchline. So it's a little disrespectful and I think the network doesn't care that they disrespect Kelly because they didn't leave on great terms. And I think they don't care so much about Kelly's opinion, even though they probably should, because the fact that Rick is backing her, his experience is priceless. So, and with, Kelly does have a TV personality. She is somebody that people like to watch, that like to follow. Julie's getting older. She probably, isn't really interested in what her mom's doing. Julie's doing her own thing. So that frees up a lot of, Kelly's time. And she has the time to be on the up and up, and she's in, she's set up perfectly. She's in Orange County. She's in her and Rick are, they're probably building themselves a nice fortune off of YouTube. We're gonna like see them in 10 years, like how they became billionaires off Patreon and YouTube. I mean, obviously you have to pump out the content if you want to make money, but if you're, not filming or you have the time to do it, it's definitely can be lucrative for them, I think. Well, I mean, I know. I honestly think that Rick actually probably talked business with Louis. If you guys remember, before Teresa started her cooking show, they were in, I want to say Barbados or the Bahamas, and they ran into Kelly and Rick. And I honestly think that Rick and Louis probably started talking business and numbers. And Louis is a media guy, and Rick, Rick and Kelly are on YouTube, and he probably got a peek into what Kelly and Rick's books look like, and he was like, "Oh, baby, we got to take you places." Kelly was fired for political reasons. It would not fly in the real world. She was on the right side of history, and that's why Andy doesn't bring her back. I thought he was the store manager. Hi, Lisa. Okay, so we were talking about Melissa did have a store manager that she fired a long time ago that was recently in like a reel that was making its circulation on Instagram and Twitter because someone actually DM'd me about it. And it was Melissa's ex Envy manager who actually came out and admitted that he was burning stories to the press about Teresa. This was a long time ago. But the new PR was Tom. Tom is who Margaret and Melissa were sharing. It was their PR person. And he was also the one who allegedly told Margaret about Melissa in the SUV with Nick because he was the one that saw them. And we discussed how Melissa was probably really furious, but at the same time, she couldn't make any moves because if she fired Margaret or if she fired him, it would put off to us that there was, it would give a lot more validity to the story. And it would also, I think, validate Laura Lee Jensen's version of things. Yo-Yo says, yes, Rick Lethal definitely suggested that Trey and Lou start their YouTube channel. Kelly talked about it on their podcast. Yes, see, I feel like I know what people are gonna do before they do it sometimes. I told you guys that. I don't know, it's like this psychic thing or something. I believe that. And here's like another thing that's really important to understand, guys. You can't pump numbers on YouTube as easily as you can on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's a lot more difficult to buy views, right? So on Instagram, you can buy views on a 30-second reel, but you cannot go onto YouTube and buy views on a 40-minute cooking show, right? So anytime that the ladies are really looking maybe to reflect legitimate following, to reflect the legitimate crowd of people who are interested enough to go on YouTube, to click on the cooking show and watch a 40-minute show, that's showing the network where Teresa's value is, right? People don't realize how important that is, but because again, it's a legitimate numbers. Can you guys see the difference of maybe Teresa walking in with her numbers from her YouTube 45-minute cooking show, in the millions, versus Melissa, who walks in with like millions of followers that you could easily go on Buzzsprout or online and just, slowly accumulate and spend $100 here and $100 there and accumulate tens of thousands of followers that are not legit, but to the outside, it looks legitimate. In fact, that is what they accuse Travis, the man that has children with Kylie Jenner. They accuse him and his manager of actually doing that. And that was the whole reason that Travis Scott allegedly even got signed, was because they actually knew how to code and they came up with some kind of app or coding program that was able to boost Twitter numbers and streaming numbers. Because again, like a 2-minute or a 45-second clip is easy to buy views and likes and follows for versus a 40-minute cooking show. Oh my God, I think you're on the other side. Groovy. On the other side of what? Nobody's on any side. We are all on side Teresa. But we may not always have the same views. That's okay. As long as we're respectful to each other. Teresa's entire wedding was a spectacle. It was iconic. It was beautiful. And I don't think that, the network or Andy or anyone should be trying to make fun of it, because that's basically what they're doing. They're like waiting for someone to have a good punchline that picks up in the press for people to, say like something ignorant, probably. Do you know what I mean? Like, mean headlines pick up way quicker than nice headlines. And so when they put something like that out there, they're just throwing the guests a bone, giving them an opportunity to say something rudely iconic back. Oh, you're so sweet, Groovy. Have you guys noticed that the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City mid-season trailer is out? I don't know where I've been. Did I literally miss half the entire season of Salt Lake City? I swear to God, I feel like it just started. I mean, didn't they just take their first little trip to Topsy Tipsies in Palm Desert? Oh, yeah. So that's out. If you guys care, if you care, they say the numbers are better than last year's numbers, and they're saying it's because Jen Shaw is not filming, but I don't really believe that. I don't think Jen Shaw kept the numbers down. I don't know what I think about Salt Lake City. What do you guys think? Are you guys watching Salt Lake City or no? Are you guys going to be watching the OC reunion? I think it's only going to be a two-parter as well. Oh, I also wanted to tell you guys, filming's wrapping at the end of the month for New Jersey. And Teresa, Dolores, Dorinda, and Ramona are doing an event on the 12th of November. So I also think she's doing an event on the 9th somewhere as well. And then BravoCon is the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Correct me if I'm wrong. Barbara says, I believe Jen did keep the numbers down because I didn't watch it when she was on. I watch it now. You could be that could be like people were more interested. They didn't watch when she was on, and like, do you like it? Are you gonna follow it? I mean, I want to like Monica until she told me she was the feds. I really did want to like her. I like Lisa Barlow a little bit more this season, and I dislike Heather Gray more than usual. I had another something else for you guys. Oh, page 6 came out. This didn't really get picked up either. You guys remember Real Housewives of Miami? Lisa and Lenny, right? And he was cheating, and they caught him hot mic moment, right, with this young model. And he recently proposed to her, I don't know, like 2 months ago, maybe. Page 6 reported there's problems in paradise. Now, Lenny, at least, he's never hit me with a cease and desist. He sends people to my inbox because I posted a photo of him and his fiance. But what was funny was the people in the background. I don't know why the camera, like, it was a darker restaurant and the light like picked up everyone around them and their faces, and it was just comical. And there were people mad about that. I was like, my God, you people need to calm down. I cannot post anything. Jeez. Monica got carried away this season along with Mary's harsh Oh, Mary. Did you guys see Mary and Watch What Happens Live when she was talking about the wine and the people that died in the plane crash? Why does she talk about death, guys? That's the second. That's a serious red flag to me. That's the second time she's used a death scenario on camera, either as a shock factor or simply because she is morbid or has something else going on. Like, that's not healthy. Okay, remember when she went to Whitney's house in front of Whitney's child and was talking about how there was a girl at the church that got in an accident and died, and everything was fine, but they died, and Whitney was like looking at her like, my daughter is standing right here, but okay. And then we hear her on Watch What Happens Live talking about this wine. It's like the bestest wine in France because at where the vineyards were located, there was a plane crash, and like the people's remains helped to fertilize the grapes. Basically, I mean that's what she was saying, guys. Like that's literally what she was saying, and it was like a comedian that was on with her, and like she was throwing her a bone, and again it's like I don't know if I don't know, Mary is can be witty too though, so it's like you can't tell me you are not reading the room. You have to be careful with people like that, guys. When you have people that are leaders of whole churches and people, like you got to be careful. I remember Sherelle's World was like doing a lot on her before she didn't come back last season, because Heather and Jen filmed at Mary's church, and we knew that because Mary's uncle, who was always around the church, was doing interviews with Sherelle's World, and one day he was there, and Heather and Jen showed up with a camera crew and like looking around at the church, and they interviewed him with Bravo. He had to sign a release and everything. And then he went on Sherelle's World and told everyone. But yeah, they were like hanging around. Like, do you guys remember when Adam interviewed her mom and her stepdad? Do you guys remember that? Her mom? Oh my God. If you don't do anything else today or this week, good Lord Jesus, go look up Mary Crosby's mama. Oh, yes. I mean, I like, I don't know how Adam did that interview because I would have been a little maybe scared. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of death. Kirby's like, there is no other explanation for that woman except that she is possessed by the enemy. I know, Groovy. Like, I mean, I get it that she's funny sometimes. Like, she can be comic relief. I get it. I totally get that. But we forget what was. Now that Jen Shaw is not over here yelling grandmother or grandfather effer, everyone's forgotten the situation. And now we got our son trying to say he's pregnant. Do you guys remember? Actually, it was like something about the son had a girl. Mary Crosby get charged with like a misdemeanor? Her son did. Allegedly, it was something like that, because it was like the girl's the young man's girlfriend was, I don't know, I don't want to say she was underage or something. Good God, but I swear to God that's what it was. It was like harboring a minor or something. And it turned out it was like his girlfriend, and she was like staying there, and I don't know if she was like hiding from her parents, lying from her parents, but whatever she was doing, she was not whatever, and they got in trouble. I think it was either her or her son. I think they had to go to court, but it was like about the girlfriend, and that's the year that they didn't film. And I just wonder why that they didn't film that year. Did she not film 2 years or just 1 year? I think it was just 1 year that she didn't film. Anyways, now they're bringing her son on trying to say he's married. Doesn't that seem suspicious, y'all? Are they going to try to say that he was married to her? Well, she, like, because I know it may sound crazy, but, like, if she hypothetically, if like, consent to marry, I bet consent in Utah is low, though. I bet if you look it up right now, what age a person can, consent to lawfully engage in a marriage, that's looked up as valid by the government, I bet it's young, because yeah, I just bet it is. Sorry, my camera, I didn't mean for it to do that. Yeah, I know I haven't been watching Sherelle's World either. I know, guys. I unfortunately hear a lot of people say like their YouTube feed just doesn't look the same anymore, and I know the good old days are over, but we just got to take the good, leave the bad, and everyone has their own preferences, and that's okay, and everyone does it different, and I've always, you guys know, since the beginning, I'm always asking you guys for feedback. Let me know what you guys think. What do you want? Do you want short of it or long of it, deep dive, this, that. So, some people, they maybe aren't, I don't know, maybe they aren't, maybe they're more of like a content creator versus a gossiper like me. I've always been like TMZ. So I've always been, I like to report on things. Even when I was in prison, I was like TMZ between everyone. I knew everything that was going on. And that between the guards, between who was sleeping with who was cheating, what was happening in the parking lots, who was on who was going to visitation. I knew it all. I even knew what was going on in the other institutions sometimes too, because they'd be transferring officers and stuff. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. Salt Lake City is something jeez, it's sticky over there. I know that Freddie covers a lot on Salt Lake City, and he's successful with it. And I think, Lisa Barlow's become a pretty big fan favorite. I don't know. I like Lisa, but more this season than I've liked her probably previously. The little $60,000 ring thing, though, I was like, oh, because here's the thing: if you have enough money to have a $60,000 ring, you have enough money to have insurance on it. If you don't have insurance on that ring, then you are not very smart. You can't tell me you traveled to another state with one ring worth $70K and you don't have it insured. Give me a break. I don't want to hear it either. When Monica was like, I don't want to hear it, I'm like, I don't want to hear it either, Monica. I'm glad you said that. And you know what I was thinking, guys? I was thinking about how, like we've heard them say before, that whenever, like, everything you say is obviously not going to make it on the show, right? And sometimes when they really want to get their point across, I've heard interviews of housewives say, like, you kind of have to repeat something several times to make sure that it gets on camera. And sometimes in those situations where Lisa continues to talk about like the $60,000 ring, I often wonder if it's because she's just, trying to make sure that it makes its way to production and ultimately on the show. I get so irritated with that. If you don't like an action, apply it equally. If I lost $100 ring, I'd be crying and complaining the whole day. Oh, for sure, ladies, for sure. But we are average folks. Like, we can't be comparing ourselves. That's what I'm saying. If you have so much money that you can go buy a $60,000 ring and you don't have the insurance, like literally, when you insure it, that you lose it, you go pay your deductible and the value is replaced, and you can go buy a new one or a different one, and you might be upset, of course, but like, you'll go get a new one. Like, you could probably add maybe 20,000 to what the insurance gives you and get $120,000, depending on who good your insurance is. So it's like we can't compare our situations of, well, unless y'all are really rich. I don't know. You guys could be sitting way better than me, but $100 to us, we're not gonna get our $100. We're not gonna get 80 of our $100 back because we didn't insure it. Like, if you had $100 ring and you lost it and you knew all you had to do was come home and call your jeweler and pay $5 and you were going to get $95 back and you could go find one on sale somewhere or something different, you probably wouldn't be as mad, right? Lisa says Freddie just did like 3 episodes review. Oh, I always shout out Freddie. I love Freddie. He does great content. He's in a different time zone, poor guy. So I feel bad because him and I don't get to talk as much as we would like. I feel like we could. Him and I, he talks to some ladies. He talks to some of the ladies. So we were talking about BravoCon and the situation there. Any of you guys going to BravoCon? I mean, the tickets are pricey. I did tell you guys, let you guys know that MGM and Caesars have been hacked, and people were having to use like old fashioned keys to get into their doors. Which if you're hacked, then all the information in their computers and in their system is compromised, which means if you use your credit card or your checking account to rent a room, or if you've given information to be part of like their private players club and such, all of that becomes compromised. And they were like negotiating with these people. And it was also MGM. And if you guys don't know, obviously, BravoCon's at Caesar's Palace. So I don't know. Basically, because also you have to consider the fact that their old system was hacked, and however long it was hacked, the hackers had created a bunch of backdoors so they could never actually kick them out. And so they sort of, I think, held the hostage for like a week, maybe two, before I think they wanted 7 mil from Caesars and 7 from MGM. No, 30, I think. But they make like 30 a day. And people, they were trying to keep it quiet. And then also on top of that, y'all, they got this fancy car race going on. If you guys don't know, I can't remember the exact name of it, but it is a big deal. It's like Porsches, Lambos, and there's a lot of battling going on between the casinos and the, I don't even know who you want to say, I guess like the marketers or the advertisers, maybe. The advertisers for the race feel like the casinos need to pay a price to be able to see the race from in front of their casino, and they feel that everyone needs to pay, their dues, and if they don't, then they're going to put up a big wall in front of the casino, on the other side of the sidewalk, so that guests from that casino can't view the race. So if they're doing that, that might mean for a lot of construction, and it might mean for higher ticket prices. You might have a lot more people, and even though it's the weekend after, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of setup and a lot that goes into that, and people are in Vegas earlier than the actual race. I hope that means housewives are being paid better to attend BravoCon, since Bravo is making so much money off of it. I agree with you, Yo-Yo. I mean, someone said that they're on the waiting list. I can't really believe that there is a waiting list. I thought that maybe Bravo was like using that as a tactic to sort of make it look more desirable, because here's the thing, guys. If you look at the roster, go check out the roster. I mean, it looks fun for like $100 a day, but unless if you are a fan of all the franchises, or at least familiar with the franchises, you would need to know all of the Real Housewives franchises, and then you would also need to be probably up to date with Southern Charm, Below Deck, Vanderpump Rules, those sort of shows, because there was a lot of those on the roster as well. So I hope that everyone that bought tickets, because sometimes we get excited, you hear BravoCon and it sounds exciting, and it sounds like, oh yeah, but like you don't realize at the moment or at the time like what is really going down. So unless if you were like a really big fan, I think that it could potentially be a little bit of a disappointment to some people, but hopefully that's not the case, and everyone that gets tickets is going to have an amazing time, and the weather's going to be great, and hopefully the women. Here's the only other thing. I would rather see the women in a natural environment. If you guys remember, I was at BravoCon Eve in New York City, and we were at the Gansevoort in the rooftop, and it's much more fun to see the women in their natural element instead of like in a like, I don't know, an event that's just centered around them, and so many people want their attention, and you can't really speak with them because you guys know what I'm saying. It's way different, and it's more personal. And so if the ladies will be venturing out like in Vegas during, the weekend to like events or something, because they will have like big names at the clubs out there. Like it's nothing for them to have like, I don't know, Big Sean and big names to headline at clubs in Vegas when there's real big events and stuff. But I don't know, because it's so big and because everything's so accessible, like the ladies could like spend the whole weekend getting massages and like drinking in their penthouse suites. Like, I don't know. I just think in New York they have to be out and about a little bit more. They're not really familiar. That you're taking cabs or cars. It's a lot different from Vegas. Oh, yeah. I kind of agree. Last year was the first year since the pandemic that they had BravoCon. And again, day passes last year were $95. Okay. You didn't know the roster ahead of time, but you could purchase a day pass, hypothetically, for Saturday. And then you could go into the city on Friday and have dinner and hang out and get a room. And then, whatever. But when it's in Vegas, it's so far out there. You can't do that sort of thing. You're like committed. You're way more committed in Vegas. So I don't know. I mean, some people love Vegas though, so they probably don't mind, and maybe they like to gamble. I don't know. Maybe but I'm sure they had to look at the numbers and think like, I don't know. They're not exactly genius over there at Bravo, so I could be giving them way too much credit, right? Maybe I would think they would look at their demographic and be like, the East Coast is probably a better option, or the West Coast, whatever, but I don't think that's the case. I don't know. But if you go, make sure you guys keep us posted, because we definitely want to hear about it, right, guys? We want to hear what it's like there. But I have friends there and I have followers there and people that are already in Vegas. That's how I know that there's a show and the races and the prices, and I know so much about what's going on. So I don't know. I mean, just the hacking alone is a little bit terrifying, guys, because if you use your checking, use your credit cards too. That's like an important thing to remember. You don't really think about the difference because they're both plastic, but it's a lot easier to charge your money back on your credit card than it is to get actual money put back into your checking account. You don't have that chargeback option. So if you're going to Caesars or MGM, don't forget they were just recently hacked. So make sure you're using your credit card. And there was an article right up that I posted that had advised people that if you had already previously done business there, that you would probably want to reestablish your checking account and your credit card because it was hacked. I saw that actually happen. The only reason I know this is like legit and it happens is because it happened to like a big like it was almost like an urgent care, but it had like a spine center, like a hospital kind of, with a bunch of different centers. And yeah, they like do it and hold it hostage for money. It's crazy. So crazy these days what these people do. But all right, guys. Well, I just wanted to check in and chat a little bit with you guys and make sure that you're all following my new Housewives 411 channel on YouTube so that we can get back to business as usual. I've been posting like more, you guys know, like more professional put together podcast episodes lately on my Spotify. So you guys can check that out. They are up to date. I updated a couple today. There's some from yesterday. So bunch of new content for you guys. If you feel like you want to listen to it, it's over on Spotify under Housewives 411. So everyone hit the like button, please. Hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Turn your notifications on. And we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.